Okay, so it says the graph below represents the amount of battery, Y, Casey has on her iPad after any number of minutes, A. So before we start with this one, looking at just her graph, how much battery does her iPad have when she gets to school? 18%. Now, what is happening to her battery? Is it increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. How do you know it's decreasing?
It's going down, the graph is going down.
The graph is going down, the slope is going down. Do you see how you're piecing all of those informations that we've been doing last week together already to find out what's going on with this graph? So now we're just gonna take that information and we're gonna write it out and do math language with it. So part A, it says, what is the y-intercept? Well, what did you tell me she had her battery at the start? 18. So y-intercept, that is your starting point. That is just our math language of me saying, what is the starting point? I can just say, what's the y-intercept? So the starting point is 18, and since that's on the y-axis, what label's on the y-axis? Percent, so 18%. And don't I give you all the answers on the graph anyway? Yeah. Then it says, is the relationship proportional? So does the relationship represent, well, why are you shaking your head no at me? Why? Well, why? It doesn't start at 0, so no. The graph does not start at 0. We're on number 2. So is that any of that new information other than the terminology y-intercept? No. Part C, what is the slope? Rate of change. So we're going to find the slope. Alright, so here's a good point. Guys, the y-intercept is normally a good point. What's the ordered pair for the y-intercept? Is it 0, 18 or 18, 0? 0, 18. So this is 0, 18. Is this, it's on the graph, is that a good
Just
point?
have your attention, please. Now you may send students with only the last letters of their name, O through R, at the time.
Is this a good point to use? Guys, is this a good point to use? No. It's on the graph, but we don't have good numbers. Yeah. The numbers kind of stink. That point's on the graph, right? But why is that one not a good one to use?
It's not really like a good number.
Yeah, it's just not good numbers. This point's on the graph, is that a good point to use? Yeah, because we got some good numbers. Alright, so this is gonna be at point 416 or 16.4? 416. Remember, you always put the X number first. Alright, so I'm gonna write my ordered pairs down. 0, 18. And then 4, 16. Label your columns. This is your X's, your X column. This is your Y column. And on part C, we want to know the rate of change or slope. Find slope. So we're going to do y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. So the same thing that we've been doing is practicing finding the slope, correct? So now we're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to add a little bit of detail to it. What am I going to put in for y sub 1? 18. Subtract subtract, what am I gonna put in for y sub 2? What label is on the y-axis? Is it the time or percent? Percent, so we're gonna put percent. What am I going to substitute in for x sub 1? What? 0. Minus x sub 2, what am I gonna substitute in for that? 4. And what label is on the x-axis?
Oh, time.
Time. So I'm gonna put minutes. Do you see how I'm getting the labels to go with the x and the y? Okay. 18 minus 16 minutes, our percent is 2. So that would be percent. Over 0 minus 4 minutes, negative 4 minutes. So in 4 minutes, how much percent does Pacey lose on her iPad? 2%. So we're gonna do 2 divided by negative 4, which is negative 1/2 percent per minute. Because she loses 2% every 4 minutes, correct? So she's actually losing 0.5% in 1 minute. Are we good? So what do you think Pacey's doing with her iPad?
Using it.
Yeah, she's using it. She's definitely not charging it. And if she is, she's losing more than it's going in. Part D, write an equation to represent the percent Y a battery on Pacey's iPad after any number of minutes. So we're gonna write an equation. Can I do it up here? Is it fine if I write it up here?
You don't mind.
Okay, part D. Thank you, because I really don't remember the number. Write an equation, so we're gonna do Y. What label is on the Y-axis? So Y stands for percent. Equals, well, what's going on with the percentage of her iPad? Is it increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing by how much?
2%.
1/2. So it's decreasing 1/2% per minute. So X. So the X stands for number of minutes. What's the one piece of information we still need to put in our equation about what's going on with Pacey's iPad?
How much are we down?
Well, you're close, you're close.
What did she say?
What other information do we need to know to find out how much battery, where it starts? Absolutely. Because don't we need to know where she started to find out where she is now? So did she start at positive 18 or negative 18%?
Positive.
So we're gonna put plus 18. That is your start team point. What's another thing that we call the starting point? Y-intercept. Go ahead and stop the video, me too.